Order. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's Town Council Planning Committee meeting on Tuesday, the 16th of June, and welcome to any viewers watching us on YouTube. Before we start the meeting proper, some traditional disclaimer. So this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Town Council YouTube page. The aim is that decision making should be transparent and in the public domain will involve more of our community in local democracy. By being in this council chamber, you are consenting to being recorded and to permission to be added to YouTube. The images and sound may be used for training purposes. Any views expressed are the speaker's own and do not necessarily reflect the view of Town Council. Please view the guidance on recording from the meeting policy if you need more information. Right. Welcome to the meeting. Start on the agenda. Item 11, apologies and approval on a substitute member.
So Hawley, Norris, Water, Eardley, and Smith are apologies and no substitute.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item 12, declarations of interest. Do we have any disclosable pecuniary interests and dispensations relating to any of the matters before us? No. Any other interests in any of the planning applications before us? If anything occurs as we get through and the details of the applicants come up, and you do find you have them, please feel free to prepare it then. So, moving on to item 13, to the minutes of the planning committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 19th of May. Do we need to go through these? These have been through the Town Council.
Yeah.
Are we all happy to accept these as a true and accurate record of the meeting?
Yeah.
Can I have a proposal, please? Councillor Redfern, second. Councillor Jones, all show of hands, please. Thank you very much. Bundle amongst yourselves while I just sign the appropriate pages. Thank you very much. Okay, now to receive the notes from the Neighbourhood Plan Implementation Working Group meeting on Tuesday, the 14th of January. We need to go through these or yeah. Okay, fine. So going through these quickly. Present. Welcome and invitations. Number 2, declaration of interest. 3, apologies. 4 to confirm the notes on the meeting held on 17th. 5 to consider any planning activity referred from the planning committee. 6 to receive any updated activities since the last meeting. 7 to consider action plan updates, and 8 date the next meeting. Have a proposal for that, please. Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Seconder. Councillor Jones. Thank you, and show of hands to receive those. Thank you very much. Those are received. Okay, planning agenda item 14. Consider any proposed site for local listing. Did we have any site local? Okay, no new site for local listing. Okay, so moving on to planning applications. I'd like to take these in a slightly different order than they're presented in the agenda. For reasons hopefully will become clear as we go through them. They are in the order in which they were sent out to you in my summaries. So, SMD 2026-0199, which is on this agenda, was actually dealt with supplementary at the last meeting, and we sent that forward with referring to the planning officer, involving the heritage officer regarding the installation of a new sewage system. In that, my summary of that, I indicated that we're probably expecting 2 further applications from the other 2 properties that share the same septic tank. Those 2 applications have come in as SMD 2026-0278 and 0282. Running through them quickly. 278 is Mrs. D. Smith of 1 Overton Hall Barns. Again, a replacement sewage tank for the same reasons. Conversion of the foul drains from an existing shared septic tank due to new legislation that it has to be a legislation compliant design. It is, there's no pre-application advice. It is in the green belt. No PNG, it's a household application. These 2 are essentially identical applications, same self-contained TriSol Nouveau UK 986 population sewage treatment plant. Let's find some pretty pictures. Right, okay, so this is this is the location of the properties. This is the original Overton hall was dealt with, and these are the two Overton Hall barns over here. So this is the sewage treatment plant. Both of the applications are installing the same type of sewage treatment plant. Essentially, none of the neighbourhood plan policies are impacted by it. The only differences between the two applications, this one and the one by Mr. Metcalfe and Ms. Judge on the two Overton Hall barns, is that in the case of one Overton Hall barns, there may be a tree that needs to be taken out, and in their application they include a tree protection plan showing the routing to avoid principal root zones of the trees. It's going to be buried in the lawn 7 metres from the boundary fence. In the case of two Overton Hall barns, it's actually going into a lawn area which will be reinstated after the work to look exactly how it is at the moment. So in both cases, I would suggest we send them forward with no adverse comments and refer to the planning officer for this matter. Again, because both of the barns are listed buildings, involve the heritage officer in the process. So you want to, everyone's happy to do that?
Same thing.
Okay, proposed by Councillor Jones. Councillor Rogers.
Yeah, quick question, please, a clarification on the tank as such. Where does the discharge go to from the tank?
The discharge from the tank, it will be, it says, put within the 7 metres of the boundary, so it can be emptied for the solid waste. Inflow water will go into the existing land drains. And the stream down the side of the road that comes into the under the culvert under the road and into the field. That will be just discharge.
The discharge.
Yes, because
being end up, that's all.
the plants are designed to discharge with compliant water. That's the whole point of the replacement, rather than a standard septic tank. So Councillor Jones is proposing my recommendations. Anyone second that? Councillor Yates, on a show of hands, please. We'll send those two through. Thank you very much. We'll take those two both taken and send through on that. Okay, right. Now we're coming back to the original order of the ones on the plan on the agenda. Right, so SMD 2026-0221, Mr. K. Robinson of Hillcrest, Church Lane, Village Moor, is the proposed two-storey extension with internal alterations to provide a larger kitchen and additional bedroom above. No pre-application advice, it's not in the green belt, no BNG exists as over application. Essentially, it's removal of the existing conservatory at the rear of the Bimber bungalow and the construction of a two-storey rear extension to create a larger kitchen dining area on the ground floor with an additional bedroom on the first floor with internal reordering. Materials of walls are existing brown facing brick and the proposed will match. Similarly, the roof is existing grey concrete tiles and proposed to match. Windows, white UPVC proposed to match. There are no additional statements provided. The only neighbourhood plan policies which I believe are impacted are INF2 sustainable drainage, DES 1 design and DES 2. Looking through it, I believe DES 1 is compliant with DES 1. It's a two-storey extension. It maintains the existing roof line and replaces an existing flat roof dormer with an asymmetric pitched roof, and all materials will match. So essentially, it's potentially an improvement to the design and it's matching materials. In terms of DES 2, it's an additional fourth bedroom. Although the existing bedroom 2 was renamed as a study, but it would be a fourth bedroom, but there is sufficient parking to meet the SMTC requirements, so it complies with DES 2. If we want to see the location. Okay, so let's go. Okay. Right, this is the location here. Okay. That is the location plan. As you can see, down the side here to the garage at the back, there's plenty of parking space on this. We can look at it on Google Maps if you'd like to look at that. But if you're happy to take that as a reasonable indication. And the other policy was INF2. The new extension isn't a significantly bigger footprint than the existing service, so I think essentially it's nothing to worry about on that one. So I would be quite happy to send it through with no adverse comments if anyone wants to comment or
Yes.
There's some comment made about parking. There's it needed that parking space and it's refused until we get provision for the other parking space on that.
Just a moment. See if we've got.
Drive's massive.
Pardon?
The drive's massive.
The drive is massive on that property. I think this right. When I looked at it, this consultation from highways hadn't come in, but pardon?
Might have read the wrong one.
Possibly yes. I think there's a couple. There are a couple like this.
Yeah.
The drive's huge on that one.
On the board.
Parking is okay, right.
It was a truck driver and he's got his.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen. Right. So the county, Councillor Jones. You. Right. So the County Council Highways have commented that parking is not shown. However, as noted, the site is sufficient space for the driveway. So yes, Council Highways have noted that there is sufficient parking. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Looking at it on Google Maps. So my proposal would be, or the recommendation sent us with no adverse comments. They want to recommend propose that. Okay, proposed. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Proudlove, show of hands, please. Okay, so we'll send that through with no adverse comments. Right, SMD. Let's not closing these things down so it makes it a little bit easier to find stuff. All right. SMD 2026-0222, Mr. and Mrs. Bossons of 25 Asquith Close, Biddle. Proposed single-storey side extension and alterations to create a ground floor bedroom, accessible wet room and utility room. There was no pre-application advice. It's not in the green belt and PAG is not applicable because it's a householder application. Let's just find it on the SMDC map. Yeah, just where it is. Essentially, this is where it is in the Prime Minister's estate in Village North. Okay, right. So essentially, it's constructed with a large pitch-roof single-storey extension to the side of the property. The walls, existing red facing brick, proposed to match. The roof, existing grey concrete tiles, proposed to match. Doors and doors, there are no details provided. There are no design statements, no supplementary supporting statements. Again, the three neighbourhood plan policies that might be impacted by this are Institute sustainable drainage, there's one design, and there's two public realm car parking and movement. I note that there's a significant increase in the overall property footprint, and I would suggest that we actually do more detailed sustainable drainage. Let's find the plan. This is the existing plan, I believe, existing ground floor plan. And the proposed ground floor plan is to add this large section on the side. So there's actually quite a significant increase in roof area. So I would suggest that we would want to request details of sustainable drainage. There's one. I think all the materials are specified to match, but no details provided in the application of window or door materials. Ideally, I would suggest that we would want those to match. The property appears to have already been extended in terms of this portion at the back here. So the large side extension may breach the allowed area increase and consequently deemed overdevelopment. And from DES 2, the addition of a separate bedroom 4 requires a minimum of 3 allocated vehicle spaces, but there are no details provided in the submitted plans. So my recommendation for this would be to refer to the planning officer for compliance with the neighbourhood plan policies, which are uncertain, possible overdevelopment, missing sustainable drainage, and compliance with SMDC parking requirements for 4-bedroom properties. Refer it to the planning office to ensure that that's compliant, and if it's not compliant, then recommend refusal. Councillor Proudlove.
Can I just raise a quick point?
You can.
The scheme is to create a ground floor bedroom and accessible wet room.
Yes.
Which suggests that maybe for a disabled person.
It does, and I think that would be strong mitigation in this case, which is why I would refer it to the planning officer for their decision rather than us trying to make a decision without all the information in front of us.
I was thinking the same.
I think it's probably worth it. You're right. You're right there, Catherine. We put that comment in that may be mitigated by the fact that this is to service a disabled person or someone requiring these additional facilities. So, if people are happy, someone like to propose what I've recommended, rather than me proposing them. Okay, Councillor Proudlove. Any second of that? Councillor Rogers. So, can we have a show of hands, please? Okay, thank you. So that's going through for referring it to the planning officer to ensure compliance with the neighbourhood plan policies we've identified, possibly recommend refusal if not compliant, but also taking into account the mitigation of the disabled facilities that are being installed. Thank you. Okay, moving on. There's that one there. Okay, on to SMD 2026-0156 Sunnybank Farm, Pines Lane. This is a retrospective planning application for a construction of an agricultural building. There was no pre-application advice. It is in the green belt, so let's find the appropriate plan so we can all see where it is. Right, as you can see, it is right in the middle of the green belt and adjacent to a protected woodland area, or close to a protected woodland area. All right, so it's a retrospective planning application for the construction of an agricultural building with an access track and surrounding hard standing adjacent to a neighbour's boundary and woodland. So basically, it's the track, the hard standing, and the building that's shown in the middle here, and it's at the adjacent boundary of the neighbour's properties, and there. But this is predominantly we're looking at with Google Maps woodland. It's a new building, bricks, the walls brick for lower levels and timber cladding above. The roof is sheet metal, the windows polycarbonate roof windows, and it's an aluminium door. There's no design access statements, but there is supporting statements with it. The building was constructed to store hay equipment and machinery to support keeping of sheep on the land around Sunnybank Farm. The area had previously been used for outdoor storage of trailers. An image that's been provided shows trailers in the field, but there's no hard standing or buildings in that corner. Building was constructed in the belief that it's permitted development. However, clearly not. There's proposals that development is appropriate, citing the NPPF Greenbelt statements for buildings of agriculture or forestry are not inappropriate. The only neighbourhood plan policies that are impacted are sustainable drainage and design, and it does use a soakaway, which is one of the specified methods of sustainable drainage in the neighbourhood plan. And in terms of the design, it's building the standard agricultural design. It's clearly nothing other than agricultural design building. Again, my recommendation on this would be to send it through with no adverse comments and referring to the planning officer. I don't like retrospective planning applications. I don't think anybody does like to see things done and then having to do retrospectives. But I think sending it to the planning officer to ensure compliance with the Greenbelt regulations, as it is in the Greenbelt, for the whole of the development of the building, the track, and the hard standing. And if non-compliant, then the planning officer should determine any appropriate enforcement action which should be taken. I've got Councillor Rogers wanting to speak.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, as soon as I see the word retrospective, it always brings to mind possibly somebody's complained about this, and it's a valid reason why they complained.
That's why I think referring it to the. I don't think that looking at what's in front of us. If this had come up to us as a standard planning application, I don't think we've had any adverse comments to say about it because it's clear in agricultural building for an agricultural use. The retrospective nature gives me cause for concern always, hence referring it to the planning officer for their decision because again, they have the facts, but also it's more than just the building because there is a track and a hard standing accompaniment to it. Okay, I've got Councillor Jones to speak. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. I really want to say, as I said, it's an agricultural building to be used for agricultural purposes. So,
NAC but referred to the planning officer because it's a retrospective. Councillor Yates.
Yes, I'll just had a look at it. I think this will probably be okay and go through. And I think if it did come to us, it would certainly be NAC. However, the fact that it's a retrospective planning application, and at this moment in time, that is very much under the microscope at Staffordshire Moorlands because of other retrospective. Just if anybody's listening to this, if there's any doubt whatsoever, even if there isn't any doubt whatsoever, just ask the question, because it's much easier to get it done through the right procedures. And if planning permission isn't required, then at least that's recorded as not required on something like that, because it is a substantial development when it's all said and done, but it is an agricultural development, and I expect there'll be conditions, if it does go through with the planning office, I expect they'll put conditions about ensuring it solely.
Thank you, Councillor. So essentially, Councillor, were you proposing what I was recommending? Are you seconding that, Councillor? Yes, but I've got Councillor Bradley who wants to speak as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to make the point as well in respect to people that progress things without going down the right. There are lots of people out there, most people out there actually go and do things the right way, get the appropriate advice, make the planning applications, whatnot. And there's, huge monetary cost people doing that. And there's a principle that, we can't expect blind eyes to be turned to retrospective, to issues like this. And it does appear to be quite prevalent in certain locations. And you see, Councillor Yates is just, I think we know what he's referring to.
Yeah, yes, we do.
But there's the point here is there's a process to go through. They would get planning permission for that. It's clear that it's an agricultural building and it would meet, the criteria within Greenbelt policy. So just doing it.
So, okay, so I think we're happy there to send this through with no other response, but referring to the planning officer to highlight the retrospective nature of it and for them to ensure that it is compliant with Greenbelt policies, and if not, then up to them to determine what appropriate enforcement action. So you're going to have a show. I'm going to propose and second a show of hands for that, please. Okay, thank you. Okay with that? Yeah. Okay, right. Moving on. Right, just for information, that's you can see where it is, the good track and the woodland backing onto it. Moving on to SMD 2026-0270 Wayside Fonton Road, Biddle, Staffordshire. This is Mr. and Mrs. Skinner. It's an internal alteration and a front extension. There's been no pre-application advice. It is in the green belt. So once again, let's look at this. Okay, some of you may be familiar with this property. This is on just before you exit Staffordshire Moorlands and head into Cheshire East on Congleton Road for the bridge. As you can see, it is in the green belt. It's quite an extensive plot. Some of you may be familiar with it. Right, it's essentially internal alterations and a modest front extension. It's a modest extension to the west frontage of a single-storey north-south wing to move the wall forward between 1 and 2 metres to facilitate internal reordering, with the provision of an internal corridor and to convert a family room and garage to provide 3 ground floor bedrooms and an office. Materials, the wall is existing cream render and is proposed to match. There are no details given for the roof, but look from the plans, it doesn't look like that's actually changing because they're just moving the front forward slightly, or for the windows or doors. In terms of the neighbourhood plan policies that are impacted, it will be DES 1 design and DES 2 public rail car parking and movement. I believe that it applies with both of those. In terms of DES 1, the materials will match the existing. There are minimal changes to the appearance, and looking at the plans, which we can if we want. Let's have a quick peek at the plan. Essentially, they're showing that the windows here actually are a better match to the existing property than the ones that were originally in the property. So let's just go back to existing, which you can see there. So I don't think there's anything really to choose there. So I think in terms of design, it complies. It increases from 2 to 5 bedrooms, but if you're familiar with the area there's a large hard standing area with two drive entrances, one at each end, which gives sufficient parking for hard standing for 3 vehicles or more. So I believe it's completely against the WC policy. I would recommend just sending it through with no adverse comments. You want to propose that? Do we have any speakers on the matter? Councillor Bradlow. Okay, do you have a second for that? Councillor Hawkins. Show of hands, please. Okay, that's going straight through as no adverse comments. Thank you, everyone. You're right. Then we come on to the final planning application of the ones submitted in advance of the meeting. So this is a determination debt 2026-0015, Mr. R. Attenborough, Bottlelands Farm, Top Road, Biddles Moor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Robert, I am familiar with the from you.
I believe it. To be honest, I don't know. I've just got Mr. R. Attenborough, and I don't believe it's David's younger brother. So,
In which case I will abstain from vote.
thank you. Okay, let's just find the location so we can all see where it is. It's actually opposite the map we got yesterday for the car park on Top Road. So let's just. Top Road.
Close to the junction down where.
Yes, it is. Buckland's Farm, Top Road. No, it's not the one. No, that's one of the supplementaries, I think. Okay, so right, it is Buckland's Farm. I think we're all familiar with Buckland's Farm. We've had applications on here before. So, an application determining prior approval is required for a proposed conversion of the existing stables into a dwelling. There's no pre-application advice because it's a determination. It is in the green belt, as you can see. And it's suggesting that BNG isn't applicable because it's a self-stroke custom build exemption for this property. All right, so it's proposed conversion of an agricultural building in the green belt to a 2-bedroom dwelling house. No materials are specified as a determination application. An ecological survey was provided that shows that no potential for supporting roosting bats, with no bats emerging or re-entering the building during dusk survey period. No badgers are on site or adjacent to the site. Suitable trees and shrubs for nesting birds, and any work would be carried out outside the nesting season. There are 3 potential neighbourhood plan policies that may be impacted by this. HOW 1 housing, DES 1 design, and DES 2 car parking and movement. Car parking and movement. The development is changing use from an agricultural dwelling on a building in the green belt. It's the construction of a new dwelling on the green. Construction of new dwellings in the green belt is deemed inappropriate, therefore should be subject to scrutiny by the planning process. Is my opinion on this. How one its supporting statement indicates it's a self-stroke custom build exemption, and therefore self-build is one of the welcomed housings in our neighbourhood plan. It's unclear how this qualifies. DES 1 and DES 2, there's insufficient information to determine if it is compliant. My recommendation on this would be to refer it to the planning officer. So recommend application required would recommend that the application is required to give prior approval for conversion as it's an effective construction of a dwelling in the green belt by a change of use from an existing agricultural building. I would propose to that should be just referred to the planning officer for their decision. I've got Councillor Jones who either wants to speak or agree with that.
Yeah, to be clear, this is an application to see if they need
An application, yes.
Well, the short answer is yes.
That would be mine, but I think it's up to the planning officer because it's effectively a green belt. Councillor Bradley.
So this is a pre-app.
Effectively, yes.
Why is a pre-app? It does.
Absolutely.
I think on this, I would just say we just bounce it straight back to the planning officer.
Go on then.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay. I'll propose it. Councillor Yates has seconded it for a show of hands. Right, thank you. Let's say it's a very valid question as to why has it come to us. It's just do they need planning permission? If building a house in the green belt, yes. But there's a conversion or a new build, I think it still needs to be scrutinised through the appropriate channel. Right, okay. Moving on. To consider supplementary applications. We received 2 supplementary applications this morning. I did send something out today, which you hopefully will have received. I apologise for it being very late, but we received them very late. So, Right, we've got two applications here. Let's just go on to that one. The first is Mannering Farm, Congleton Road, SMD 2026-0272. We will pull this one up. This is the one that I was confusing the previous one. I do apologize. Right, okay, so yes, this is the one. Yeah, that's the car park we were dealing with previously. This is Mannering Farm on Top Road. Right, again, what this is doing is it's Mr. and Mrs. Roberts from Mannering Farm, Congleton Road, Mount Cock. They're requesting a certificate of lawfulness for an existing residential use of land and outbuildings. The application advice, it is in the green belt, as you can see. BNG isn't applicable because it's a certificate of lawfulness rather than any sort of development. Right. It's an application for certificate of lawful existing use or development based on the existing use for over 10 years. They're stating since the 1st of October 2007 for land as a garden with the associated ancillary outbuildings. The statement that's provided, the report argues that the land around Mannering Farm has been in residential use as a garden for over 10 years, and the outbuildings used for the purposes of ancillary are used for purposes ancillary to the residents for more than 4 years, and that the applicant's account is plausible to meet the balanced probability test that would determine such an application. There are no neighbourhood plan policies impacted by this as far as I can tell. However, in my additional comments, there is a relevant planning history for this, in that there was a refused application in June 2024 for the demolition of the existing store buildings and the erection of a garage, workshop and gym with ensuite. The inclusion of the wooden shed and barn, demolition of the wooden shed and barn was included as compensation for the size of the proposed new development. However, the application was rejected in the opposite report because the use of that was rejected in the officer's report, and that was one of the reasons for refusing the application. So this application, I think, seeks to have the shed or barn formally recognised as a lawful part of the domestic dwelling development, effectively to circumvent one of the reasons for the refusal. Again, I think this is a legal argument in terms of the compliance with the APCF regulations. I don't think we have anything to say on it, so I would simply recommend referring it back to the planning officer for his determination, as it's a legal matter. Does anyone want to propose what I've recommended? Thank you, Councillor Redfern. Do I have a second for that?
Also,
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Let's show of hands, please. Does anyone wanted to speak on that? Apart from state the obvious. Okay, right. So thank you very much. That's going to go straight back to the planning office because there's nothing I think we can add to that debate. Final application of the supplementary. Is SMD 2026-0285 4 Cedar Grove Business Mall within your bailiwick, Councillor Jones. Right. Cedar Grove Business Mall. Right. There we go. Okay, so that's where we all know where it is. It's this one on the corner of Cedar Grove, backing onto Fairfield Road. Okay, it is. The application is by Mr. and Mrs. Whitehurst. I'm not sure which Whitehurst this might be. I may have to declare an interest in one of the Whitehursts I know because it's not clear from this. It's a single-storey rear extension to the bedroom, conversion of the lot to a habitable space, and an increase in ridge height and exterior alteration. So it's no pre-application advice. It's not in the green belt. It's not BNG applicable because it's a household application. So in summary, it's an enlargement of the existing rear flat-roofed extension across the full width of the property, with modifications to the roof to increase the pitch height and extend to cover the new enlarged rear extension. The addition of roof lights for the rear extension and rear-facing dormer windows to create useful first-floor bedrooms with dressing room, and internal reordering, including the creation of a utility room in the existing attached garage. It also includes the installation of solar PUV. Right, so let's look at the existing floor plans, just to give you the context of this is the current building. This, I believe, is an existing existing extension that's been to the original property with the attached garage on the side. This is a flat roof, as you can see. The proposal is essentially to extend that across the full width of the property and create the utility roofing here. There will now be a pitched roof with roof lights over the full width extension, and the first floor will have a large bedroom with dressing area and ensuite.
We've got a front or a side.
I have a front and a side elevation, if that's what you'd like to see. Okay, so the existing elevations are, that's the existing elevation. Okay, so you can see this does extension, partial extension on the back. And it will look like this. Okay, right. So in terms of materials, existing red facing brick is proposed to brick wall match with a grey composite cladding, which I'm presuming is the grey composite cladding across here. The roof is existing concrete tiles, proposed that they will match, but now it will be a pitched roof over the entire property rather than a flat roof. The windows, the existing windows are rosewood finish, and it's proposed that the new windows will be pebble grey or pebble grey stroke green. The only neighbourhood plan policy that I think applies is design. There's one. I think it's an improved design to replace the flat roof. The proposed window colours don't match, and an increase to the dwelling floor space over the original unextended property may exceed that which is allowed. The first floor windows may also overlook Fairfields Road, so we would need to consider neighbours' amenity. So again, my recommendation on this is to refer to the planning office to ensure compliance with allowed dwelling floor space increase and no negative impact on neighbours' amenity, and also recommend that all materials should match existing, or to replace the existing windows with to match the new ones rather than having mismatched windows. And that would just be my recommendation. Councillor Jones, who wants to speak.
Well, everything you said, I suppose. The only thing I would say is and I don't like it that much, but it's but it's a damn sight better than just random blocks into the
Yes.
rest of the public,
Yeah.
which is happening a lot of them. That is at least showing some element of thought and design, and it is on the back.
It is on the back.
I have no issue on the design. If they're pretending to go for and neighbourhood privacy, then privacy, then still able to. So I would support everything you said, yeah, and that's fine.
Thank you. Do anyone else make any comment on this, or do I have a second for that? Thank you. A second for Councillor Proud. Look, on a show of hands, please, to send it forward effectively with no adverse comments, but those recommendations to the planning officer to consider the compliance with the allowed floor space increase and the neighbour impact on neighbours' immunity. Okay, show of hands, please. Thank you very much. That concludes the planning applications for this evening. Right, so moving on to item 7, decisions received. We've seen those before us. I think Lane End Farm, we sent no adverse comments, and it's been refused on impact on the green belt. Apart from that, I think Glee Globe Cottage, Trotstones Road, proposed agricultural building, that has been refused again for impact on the green belt. We sent it forward with agricultural, potentially restricting our agricultural use, but subject to compliance with green belt. So again, it's gone out on what we suggested. The permission in principle for the 7 new dwellings, we recommended refusal. It was refused. No adverse comments approved. Concerns over overdevelopment, and that was refused. So by and large, I think the decisions that have come back from county are in alignment with those comments that we made at the previous meeting. Districts are, the district council is the planning authority for the Staffordshire Moorlands. Thank you, Chief Officer. Yeah, just in case, but those who may be watching this online, I do apologise. Okay, so I don't think you have any appeals.
No.
So in that case, ladies and gentlemen, at 18:09.